January 27, 2025, a series of climate disasters hit various regions of Europe and the United Kingdom, leaving destruction and chaos in their wake. The extreme weather conditions, caused by the arrival of Storm Herminia, added to the damage already inflicted by Storm Eowyn, resulting in torrential rain, strong winds, and severe flooding. In Portsmouth, England, the day was marked by thunderstorms, hail, and wind gusts reaching over 80 kilometers per hour, forcing residents to stay alert to weather warnings. In this region, heavy rain began in the early hours of the morning, accompanied by lightning and thunder that intensified around 1 p.m. Hail, the size of marbles, hit windows and windshields, causing minor damage before the skies briefly cleared. However, the meteorological office's warnings indicated that adverse conditions would persist, with wind gusts of over 50 kilometers per hour expected until the following morning. Elsewhere in England, Wales, and the West Midlands, Storm Herminia brought intense rain and hurricane-force winds that disrupted land and air transport and caused power outages. The impact was particularly severe in Somerset, where flooding led to evacuations, road closures, and school closures. Relief centers were set up in 3 locations to house displaced people. In Scotland, although the effects of Storm Eowyn were still being felt, with rail lines affected and thousands of homes without electricity, cleanup and repair efforts were underway. However, the strong winds and rain associated with Herminia complicated recovery, especially in coastal areas. The main rail line between Glasgow and Edinburgh resumed operations with limitations, while connections to the north remained disrupted. In France, the situation was equally devastating. The city of Rennes and its surrounding areas faced the worst flooding in over 40 years, with water levels reaching historic highs. Torrential rains caused the Isle and Vilaine rivers to overflow, forcing the evacuation of hundreds of people from their homes. Local authorities set up gyms and other temporary shelters to house the displaced. While firefighters conducted over 50 emergency interventions since Friday. In Spain, the northern regions, such as Galicia, were the hardest hit by Herminia. Wind gusts of up to 158 kilometers per hour and intense rain caused landslides, road blockages, and infrastructure damage. More than 1,200 incidents were reported, with canceled flights and suspended fishing activities due to hazardous maritime conditions. The provinces of A Coruña and Pontevedra faced widespread power outages, affecting thousands of households. Air and rail transport were also severely affected in these regions. In Vigo, several flights were canceled due to delays in nighttime arrivals, leaving many passengers stranded. Meanwhile, ports remained closed, disrupting local economic activity, particularly in the fishing sector. Meanwhile, in England, weather warnings remained active for much of the south and west of the country. Heavy rain flooded roads and properties, with some rural communities being cut off due to flooded routes. In the southwest, Wind gusts reached 93 kilometers per hour, and local authorities urged drivers to avoid unnecessary travel. The impact of the storms was not limited to infrastructure. Thousands of homes remained without electricity, and emergency teams worked tirelessly to restore services. In Somerset, a major incident was declared, with flooding exceeding levels seen in recent years. In Devon and Wiltshire, main roads were closed overnight due to rising water levels. Climate change has been cited as a contributing factor in the frequency and severity of these extreme events. According to meteorologists, storms like Herminia and Eowyn are a reminder of the urgent need to address the underlying causes of climate change. Torrential rain and hurricane-force winds are becoming increasingly common, causing significant damage and disrupting the lives of thousands of people. In rural areas of Wales and Western England, local communities faced additional challenges. Heavy rains caused landslides that blocked roads, while farms and businesses suffered losses due to flooding. Residents expressed frustration at the slow response times of emergency services and limited access to resources. In Northern Ireland, the effects of Eowyn continued to affect thousands of people. More than 60,000 homes were without electricity, and repairs were progressing slowly due to the adverse conditions. Rural communities were the most affected, facing not only power outages but also disruptions to water supplies and essential services. In Cornwall, Storm Herminia brought winds of up to 80 kilometers per hour, causing damage to roofs and fallen trees blocking main roads. Residents were warned of possible coastal flooding, and red alerts were issued for the most vulnerable areas. In summary, the storms Herminia and Eowyn have left a devastating mark on much of Europe and the UK. From widespread power outages to historic flooding, these events highlight the vulnerability of communities to extreme weather phenomena. Authorities have urged the public to follow official recommendations, avoid unnecessary travel, and prepare for possible emergencies.